Parties of interest. Today's date is Wednesday, February 19th, 2025, and the time is now 2:03. For the record, this meeting is being recorded. This is the evaluation committee meeting to discuss and determine if applicants are qualified in accordance with the project attachment A, which is procedure for selection of qualified appraisers, and attachment B, applicant application, submission for RFPQ-24-25006 entitled Real Estate Appraisal Services. This project included attachment B, pre-qualification application, seeking applicant firm name and address with 14 criteria lines, seeking applicant response. Attachment B, it is the applicant's direct responses upon application and support documents that are the basis of evaluation committee members' discussion and determinations for either pass or fail determination, a consensus determination. The evaluation committee members have been reviewing applicants' submissions independently to determine if the applicants meet qualification standards as identified on attachment A and attachment B. Active participation today will be for committee members only. I am here in a support function for procurement services. Provisions have been made for any member of the public desiring to have access to view the meeting through county meetings on the county website. Please be advised that the cone of silence is still in effect. The only time that the cone of silence is lifted is when we have a notice of intent to award. My name is James Wonderly. I am the procurement analyst for this project. At this time, I will ask each committee member to introduce themselves for the record. You can start, Eric, with you.
Eric Watkins, Manager, Real Property Section, Facilities Management, Real Estate Services, Chairman.
John Menard, review appraiser, real estate appraiser with the real estate and department, and I'm just a member, committee member.
Hello, I'm Dean DeRose. I am a Senior Assistant County Attorney in the Hillsborough County Attorney's Office. I oversee eminent domain and real property litigation for the County Attorney's Office.
Cool.
Justin Knippen, real estate appraiser with the real estate department, Hillsborough County.
Okay, great. For the evaluation committee members and for the benefit of the audience, and we do not have any audience with us, the committee members should speak loud enough to be heard by other members in the room and for the audience. Active participation by all evaluation committee members is required so that each member expresses their findings from their independent review of each application, accordance to attachment B and attachment A procedures. After all discussions have been completed, I will ask the evaluation committee member for their decision for the applicant for either pass or fail. The determination for pass and or fail will be a consensus of the evaluation committee. Once the consensus is arrived at, I will scribe the consensus positions of the team on the score sheet and have each committee member sign attest to the consensus results. So earlier I provided the team with a score sheet. At the top it shows the applicants from left to right. And what we'll do is we'll start off with Newkirk Valuation and Consulting Service LLC. So that way if the team, however you want to do it, John, if you want to start, and go from John to Justin, that way you can identify the strengths and the weaknesses that you found in that application. So go ahead, John, you can begin.
The applicant from Newkirk Valuations was Haywood Newkirk, who is an active certified general appraiser. He has extensive experience out of state in eminent domain for North Carolina and other states, but has done review work in Florida. I find particularly for that he is would be qualified, and those would be his strengths. For our other work, he is not, does not appear that he has some environmental and recreational land experiences, but that he hasn't done anything particularly for Hillsborough County. So from my perspective, I think he's qualified.
My turn, Dean Rose, okay. Yes, reviewing Mr. Newkirk's qualifications, he it jumped out at me right away that he's valued and appraised over 1,500 right-of-way parcels in the past 5 years. That's quite a large number, and so that's a big plus for his qualifications. John, you said he's a general appraiser, not an MAI.
That's correct. He's a member of one of the other International Right-of-Way Association, but not an MAI.
An MAI would be the ultimate, but it's not a disqualifier, in my opinion, that he's not an MAI. And I think there's pros and cons to him, his experience being generally out of state, North Carolina, or wherever else. The cons are he's not as familiar with Florida, but that is generally something that, your standards for appraisal are pretty much the same, whether it be in Florida or out of state. But I think a pro would be that maybe he's seeing things that would bring a unique perspective to his ability to assist us with the analysis that we need for not just eminent domain appraisals, but other appraisal problems as well. So I think from my review that Mr. Newkirk, I would just ask one other question. I'll ask for each one. And John, you would probably be the one to know. Has Mr. Newkirk, I assume he's never been on our approved list in the past?
That is to my understanding, at least my search, idea is not.
Okay.
Eric could probably speak to it better than I.
All right, well, based on all of that, I would, my vote would be to pass Mr. Newkirk and his firm.
Although to my knowledge, we've not received any work product on the county's behalf from this firm, this appraiser. I concur with the earlier statements. I think this person passes minimal qualifications.
And then just for John, as far as the position, what is your?
It's a pass.
Pass?
Yes.
Okay.
Justin Knippen, applicant Hayward Newkirk. And part of his application, he has his Florida state license. He's certified real estate appraiser, certified general appraiser. He does indicate eminent domain experience, which we value, and some residential experience as well, which we could also use in commercial, agricultural. The application does state that he has performed appraisals in Hillsborough County, not for us. So assuming hopefully that they have some knowledge of Florida state law as to valuing our property rights. And all that being said, look, this application as a pass.
Okay. And the understanding too is that any one of these applicants of the four, there's different degrees, like we're saying, eminent domain appraisals that the department could utilize a select like eminent domain if this applicant specializes in it to still qualify them as passive.
Yes.
Whereas another may not have eminent domain, but they have strengths in other areas of the profession.
We have several on our current list that do not have eminent domain experience that we would not utilize for that type work. And then we have ones that just did eminent domain work only and are not interested in doing anything but. So that's kind of how it works.
Good, and I'm just trying to qualify that, so we're not pigeonholing it in just one select area, but that we can grade up the strengths as we go along. Okay, so for what I see, for Newkirk Valuation and Consulting Services LLC, it would be a pass, or as an overall consensus. Okay, so John, the next applicant that we're looking at would be Property Valuation and Consulting Incorporated.
The applicant, the appraiser that is applying is Blair Beasley. And she happens to be an associate of someone that is already on our approved list. And she personally has with the supervising appraiser that is on our list, has done work for us in the past. She does not have, while she's taken classes in eminent domain, she doesn't have specific eminent domain experience, but she does have experience would be in our general appraisal arena. And we had her on some surplus properties, came over and did 4 or 5 assignments for us. Her office happens to be in Winter Park. And she did a competent job. And I reviewed the work and was satisfied with what she did. Her supervisor, who is on our list, also signed the reports. And so property valuation and consulting is already on our list approved. This would be a second appraiser on the list, and that I would vote to pass.
Okay, thank you. So John, obviously Blair Beasley has not been on the list as her individual self from that firm in the past, but it would now be applying to be added to the list. And based on the fact that she's done work for the county and reviewing her qualifications and her experience here in the state of Florida,
Sounds like she's limited on any weaknesses.
Well, it's just, I wouldn't ask her,
Right.
unless we wanted to see how she looked, we wouldn't ask her to do an assignment for eminent domain, because we have people that just do eminent domain experience that we know would happen. So that would be probably my position on that. But we have plenty of other work that has to be done where she could do a competent job.
and she's got a pretty impressive list of governmental and water management district
That's correct.
clients. So I would support Blair Beasley and Property Valuation and Consulting Inc. as a pass.
Okay.
Yes, I concur with the prior statements. Beasley gets a pass.
Justin?
Justin Knippens for Blair Beasley, property valuation and consultant, is a state certified general appraiser with experience for property types that we would utilize our services. And that vote to pass.
Okay, great. Okay, so for property valuation and consulting, the committee as a consensus has determined them to be a pass. The next applicant is Realty Valuation Advisors, Inc., doing business as Integra Realty Resources, Tampa Bay. John?
The applicant appraiser is Kendra Berry. And she is a state certified general appraiser, currently active. has had her license since 2008. Works for a firm that has done, of which I'm aware of, a lot of general appraisal work in the banking community predominantly. And most of her assignments, although she has done a lot of agricultural and acreage and greater than acreage stuff in her office, so I would presume that her qualifications would be in the area of or environmental lands area and that type area, not in the eminent domain area. I don't see, she has been appraising for over 21 years, and based on her qualification B, has sufficient information and background that I would believe that she would probably do, although I've never seen her work product, but would probably, what comes out of Integra offices is usually competent, and I would anticipate that her work should be fine. And so I see no reason not to pass, and so I would pass Kendra as well.
Moving on to me, Dean DeRose reviewing Kendra Berry's application. Jumped out at me as a strong positive qualification that she's done a large number of appraisals in her past 21 years of experience as an appraiser, in the thousands, it appears. So that kind of experience is something that really can't be overlooked and is quite valuable. And I think everything else I reviewed clearly met the qualifications. Good thing about this approved appraisers list is it's not a guarantee of any work. It just gives the county the benefit of a lot of different types of experienced appraisers to choose from. So I would vote for Kendra Berry and Realty Valuation Advisors doing business as Integra Realty Resources as a pass.
Justin? Oh, I'm sorry, Eric.
Oh, that's okay. In reviewing Ms. Berry's length of experience, couple decades, as well as volume, numbering in the thousands of appraisals generated over the years, I concur and I pass.
Justin Knippen, for Kendra Berry application, Royalty Valuation Advisors, business as Integra. She's a state certified general appraiser that and doing business in Tampa, Florida. Their main office is within 5 miles to our office here, which is a positive in that she understands our market, understands the property types, considering her 21 years of experience. For that, I vote to pass Kendra Berry.
So as a consensus, the team has passed Realty Valuation Advisors, Inc., doing business as Integra Realty Resources, Tampa Bay. The last applicant that we have, it is South Shore Valuation Services, LLC. John?
The appraiser's name is John R. Resser, R-E-C-S-E-R. He does have a state certified general appraiser's qualifications in the state of Florida, so he's qualified as a state certified general appraiser. However, he did not fill out the Hillsborough County Consultant Appraiser qualification application, which is, I think, what you termed was Exhibit B, which reportedly in my request for it, you had asked him for it on more than one occasion, and we have not received it. And from his biographical information that he has, I'm afraid that I have to call this a non-responsive application.
So
He does not address any of the questions in his, that we have in our consultant list to make a determination as to whether he would be an assistant to us for what our uses are of the 14 questions that we have. He didn't answer any of the questions in what he provided. So therefore, I don't know whether he's qualified or not, so I call it non-responsive and it's a fail.
Okay, and that was gonna be my question. You know, we can have an application that asks for criteria. Sometimes people don't use the application, but they provide it in another form. And what you're saying is they do not cover the criteria identified.
It does not.
Okay. All righty. Was there anything else that you observed?
No, other than, whatever, I mean, he's got experience, but nothing that asks the questions of why we would hire him. Why we would, so I don't know how he's gonna, as being non-responsive, I don't know if we would want him on the list to hire him or not.
Okay, so your position,
Yes, it's a fail, but non-responsive.
okay, Dean?
Yes, Dean DeRose and reviewed Mr. Resser's submittal, which, as has been noted, was lacking what I believe is a pretty critical component, which is the basic, the very basis of the application. And I don't believe what he's provided in any other way provides the answers to the questions that would be answered if he had responded and filled out the document that was requested. I'm assuming, and I'll just ask if anybody knows, has Mr. Resser ever been on our approved list in the past? I'm not familiar with the name, so I would think the answer to that is likely no. But even, just trying to glean whatever I could from what he did provide, and it's a typical resume, but it's really more of it's not even tailored to government type work. It's very business driven, and it doesn't provide me anything to go on whether he would be qualified to do the type of work that typically want the appraisers to do who are on this approved list. So unfortunately, Mr. Resser did not respond to the repeated requests to provide the information we were seeking. So I have to confer with my esteemed colleague, Mr. Menard, and say it's not responsive, and I would say it's a fail.
And I could interject that for procurement, I continuously requested clarification from South Shore Valuation, asking, please clarify why you did not utilize attachment B. And I gave them ample opportunities through the bonfire message portal and never received a response. I also emailed him and still did not receive a response.
Okay. Yeah, the only other thing I would say about that is if he's not responding to this process, it's hard to gauge how responsive he would be to any of the work assignments.
Exactly.
All right, I think we'll turn it over to our chair, Eric Watkins.
Upon reviewing the submittal, I found that it was not responsive to the questions, and therefore I rendered it a fail.
Justin Knippen, this is application John Resser, similar to the other committee members. Reading the resume, I didn't see where the applicant answered any of the questions that we would need to determine whether it'd be a good fit for us, and not be get ourselves into a situation where we're delaying our work product and So without his responses to the production of appraisal, if that's a thing, or the types of appraisals that he would be performing, it's hard to render anything other than a fail for this applicant.
Alrighty, thank you. We'll get this document for you, gentlemen. Okay, so there's a place for your signature. That would be a consensus of what we passed and good to know. Okay, so in front of me, I have the results by consensus of the committee that Newkirk Valuation and Consulting Services LLC is a pass. Property Valuation and Consulting Inc. is a pass. Realty Valuation Advisors Inc. doing business as Integra Realty Resources Tampa Bay is a pass. South Shore Valuation Services LLC is a fail. And this will conclude today's committee scoring meeting. Stop the recording.